Presented on this program.
Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin.
And good afternoon. It is Dr. Shealy today. Sergey's not with us, but it is Open Line Wednesday, and you can ask a question about anything because it is all related to your health. 7 steps and more to healthy longevity, to healthy life in every conceivable way. And of course, at the top of my list is a bunch of supplements because in today's polluted world, thanks to the cities of all of the states practically, 71% of Americans are being poisoned by their city water with fluoride. The sperm count has decreased from 150 million to 40 million. If it is not stopped, if fluoride is not stopped within 20 years, there will be no more children. Vote out council members in every city election until they get rid of fluoride forever in our water. And meanwhile, because of that, you also need to have about 10 times more vitamin B and vitamin C than you used to. And of course, here in Springfield, the place to get that is Spring Valley Natural Foods, the place where I shop, and you should too. The reason I like Spring Valley is service. You know, you go to those places, they've got thousands of things. I don't know where to find anything. You walk in the door, they come in to help you. And they carry, of course, all of the Shealy-Sorin products, our magnesium lotion, our essentials, a vitamin mineral supplement, our youth formula, our 5 bliss oils, and thousands of other goodies. Spring Valley, the place where I shop for my supplements, and you should too. And of course, my all-time favorite food supplement, Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. The average American eats only 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. You need a minimum of 5 and preferably 8 or 10. And you can get 3.75 of those by drinking just 2 tablespoons of Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate a day. Lowers your cholesterol, lowers your blood pressure, tastes smashing good, antioxidant in the produce department at real grocery stores. If they don't have it, you're in a fake grocery store. Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. Raise your minimum to 2 tablespoons a day of Nature Blessed. And of course, right now is your time to ask questions about anything because it's all related to your health. 417-447-1777. I've got to move over a little bit because I can't see that. Yeah, we can have an open line. I guess we can't because we are back on video. I thought we were going to get video coincidentally. Okay, so 7 steps. At the top of my list always has to be retrain your brain. Biogenics. In 1972, I learned about biofeedback and at the same time about past life therapy and at the same time about autogenic training. It's been around since 1912. Hypnosis was exquisitely popular back in the beginning of the last century, and a very bright psychiatrist, one of the few wonderful ones in the world, in the history of the world, didn't like the fact that when he hypnotized people, they became dependent on him. So he asked them for feedback while they were going into trance. And this is what he learned, that if he would guide them with these steps, he could put them into trance and they could put themselves into trance. And the 7th, well, it's really only 5 major steps. But if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're at home, you can just relax and enjoy it and repeat it in your own mind. As you breathe in, say to yourself, my arms and legs, as you breathe out, are heavy and warm. My arms and legs are heavy and warm. My arms and legs are heavy and warm. My arms and legs are heavy and warm. My heartbeat is calm and regular. 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 My breathing is free and easy. 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 My abdomen is warm. My abdomen is warm. My abdomen is warm. My abdomen is warm. My forehead is cool. My forehead is cool. My forehead is cool. My forehead is cool. My mind is quiet and still. 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 Now that's a very quick way to do it. The reality is if you do it for 18 minutes twice a day for 3 months, it trains the brain. After that, you only need to do it a minute or two a day. And it keeps you at peace. It trains your brain to be free of stress, to detach from those things you cannot change. And now there are 68 different exercises devoted to all kinds of things that can retrain the brain to be free of strain. Biogenicscourse.com. Biogenicscourse.com. It is a wonderful thing. It is the top of the list of things you can do to be free of stress, to train your brain, and not to get upset over things that aren't going to do you any good anyway. Why bother wasting your time if you can't change the government or the weather or whatever else is in your life? Detach. The premium for detachment. So it's exquisitely important. But probably next to that is nutrition. And the sad thing is that only 2.5% of Americans eat properly. That means 97.5% eat slop. That slop is fast food restaurants and 80% of the food sold in the grocery stores. Actually, the food industry is as evil as the tobacco industry. What they've done to the food, to change food, artificial this, substitutes that, junk, junk, junk. Ideally, if you've got a lawn, you've got room to grow a vegetable garden. It's a lot less work, actually, all year to raise a good vegetable garden than it is to mow your lawn. I have lived on a farm the great majority of my 88 years, and I love my garden. It's my favorite avocation other than reading and writing. And, well, it's what you should consider. But if you're not going to do that, avoid all fast food restaurants. My favorite statement is, I went to McDonald's in 1962. It was new in Cleveland where I lived at the moment. I walked in, I bought a burger, I took one bite, and I spit it out, and I threw it in the garbage can, and I've never been back. And I never will go back to it or any other of those junk restaurants. And in the grocery stores, when I do have to buy something, I shop around the outside aisles. I don't buy anything off the inside aisles except apple juice, and I read the label to be sure it's real apple juice even then. And eggs, meat, fish, vegetables, and fruits. That's all the food you should buy. Now, if you're not going to do that, then I strongly recommend you get ORAC, ORAC Rich Greens. It's a powder, a little scoop, probably only half a teaspoon, contains the equivalent of 6 servings of fruits and vegetables. You can add that and raise your 2.2 minimum up to, well, a decent level at least. And if you then added 2 tablespoons of Nature Blessed tart cherry juice concentrate, you could really be good with just doing that without having to eat all those vegetables you don't want to eat anyway. Now, at the top of my list, I have to tell you, I am not and do not believe in veganism. Among other things, there is no real B12 in vegetables, and there's no taurine. L-taurine, one of the most almost essential and minimally present in the average diet. L-taurine. Interestingly, the greatest source of it is in clams. If you ate a can of clams every day, you'd get enough taurine. It is wonderful for lowering blood pressure. Now, if you just did autogenic training twice a day and ate a can of clams every day, 99.9% of people could control their blood pressure safely without drugs. The drugs suck. If you take 3 antidepressant drugs, and most people wind up doing that, you have a 45% chance of controlling your hypertension and a 100% chance of having chronic fatigue, and if you're a male, erectile dysfunction, but you don't have the energy anyway. Nothing is more important than autogenic training and getting your 8, preferably, or 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So get your ORAC-rich greens and your Nature Blessed tart sugar. Just concentrate if you don't want to eat those vegetables themselves. Now, beyond that, 22% of Americans still smoke. Number one cause of premature death today is obesity. 32% of Americans are obese. Obesity means you have a body mass index of 30 or above. When you get to 30 or above, you have the same death risk of someone who smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day. But even when you get to a body mass index of 25, you're already increasing your health risks. So smoking is still a negative, useless, harmful thing. And of course, interestingly, physical activity. People who sit all day have the same risk as someone who smokes 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes a day. We were meant to move. The recommended minimum is 30 minutes of physical exercise 5 days a week. Now, I get 2 hours of physical exercise 7 days a week. Not because I have to, because I like to. I enjoy it. I get up most days at 4 a.m., but I go to bed at 8 p.m. I get my 8 hours of sleep, but I do 2 hours of physical exercise because I like it. It gives me more energy to fulfill my purpose of the day of helping people. So physical exercise is critically important. And my favorite for people who don't like to move is moving your arms. Just circling your arms like this. Now, if you're standing, you bend your knees just a little bit. I call it bouncing, minimally moving your knee. Musical conductors live longer than any other profession. Now, part of it, I'm sure, is the music, but this activity apparently exercises and thrushes, if you will, flushes the heart better than walking even. And, of course, then, another critical one is sleeping 7 or 8 hours every night. Now, I'm almost a sleepaholic. I require 8 hours of sleep. I have to admit that on July 4th, I overdid it and stayed up to 10 o'clock, and I suffered the next day. But I enjoyed it so much it was worth it with the fireworks. But otherwise, I get my 8 hours every single night. People who sleep 6 hours or less have more automobile accidents than all drugs and alcohol combined. They function at the level of slightly drunk. You need 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night. Now, if you have good health habits, if you don't do stupid things, if you practice autogenic training, you probably can sleep well. However, because our stupid, ignorant, evil city councils fluoridate your water, it calcifies the pineal gland. The average person who lives in a city has a calcified pineal gland by age 17. Why is that important? Because the pineal makes melatonin. Once it's calcified, it can't make melatonin anymore. So if you can't sleep, get yourself timed release melatonin. If you're an adult, start with 5 milligrams. And every couple of nights, if you haven't slept well, add another 5 milligrams until a maximum for the average adult, a maximum of 30 milligrams of time release melatonin. Now, if that doesn't work, you can also add L-taurine. Although it's considered a conditional essential amino acid, over the years I've learned that 80% of the patients that I see are deficient, are very low in L-taurine. L-taurine works like a Siamese twin with magnesium to regulate, put at peace your nervous system. So, of course, add L-taurine. It's a wonderful other thing. You can take up to 6,000 milligrams a day if you have hypertension. I have weaned hundreds and hundreds of people off stupid, ignorant, harmful antihypertensive drugs safely and given them normal life and good sleep and normal blood pressure by adding L-taurine and, of course, magnesium lotion. Now, once upon a time, we apparently had adequate magnesium in our soil, but at least as early as the 1970s, there was a book called Food for Naught, and it pointed out that even at that time, the vegetables and fruits were deficient in magnesium because our soil is deficient in magnesium. Now, cattle farmers know that they have to give their cattle extra magnesium or they die of something called grass staggers. Now, cattle have an extra stomach called the rumen. We don't have an extra stomach. And magnesium by mouth is a waste of money and time. If there is protein, fat, or calcium in the intestine at the same time, you cannot absorb magnesium. Through the skin, you can absorb magnesium. And not only does it be absorbed well, but it will raise your DHEA, the anti-stress hormone, one of the most important things in your body. It's the most prominent hormone in your body. Most people optimize the manufacturing of DHEA at age 25, but by age 40, they've lost 20 or 30% maybe. And by age 80, they've lost 90% of what they had at age 25. And if you don't have DHEA, you are sick. You can't be healthy with a low DHEA. But my favorite statement is, make it, don't take it. One of the things to make it is magnesium lotion. The second is youth formula. 2 grams of vitamin C and 1 gram of MSM. Eat them alone will not do it. The MSM plus the vitamin C, patented process, raises your DHEA with 60%. Third is Fire Bliss. Fire Bliss raises your DHEA. It's a mixture of essential oils. It activates acupuncture points. In 30 seconds, you can activate 12 acupuncture points. Safe and effective at home. Reduces pain, great for migraine, and great for depression. And finally, Eugesterone, Eugesterone, the natural progesterone cream. Now, many years ago, I thought, it's really interesting. Women stopped making progesterone after the menopause. I wonder about men. So I studied 12 men who had low DHEA, and I gave them natural progesterone cream. Interestingly, it raised their DHEA an average of 60%. Now, if you do all 4 of these things, it will raise your DHEA a whopping 250%. It gives you energy. It helps to control stress. It is, one of the most important things in your life. Make your DHEA. Now, these habits are all critically important, but there's another aspect of this. It's thinking. Every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, emotion, companions, hope, despair. It's everything. You cannot avoid the luxury of negative thinking. That's where our entire biogenics and holistic program helps you to control stress and live a healthier, longer life. Now, often you need gamma. it's interesting. The concept of gamma frequency in the brain, 40 cycles per second, was first discovered in Buddhist monks who meditate 8 hours a day. Well, we can put you into gamma in 30 minutes using the Shealy-Sorin gamma PEMF device. The Shealy-Sorin gamma PEMF is the only one we know. There are dozens of them on the market. And PEM is good for all kinds of things. It lowers just nutritional, it lowers all stress. The most important thing is it puts the brain into gamma. And gamma is in the zone. Who cares? Woo-hoo! It is the single greatest treatment in the history of the world for depression, anxiety, and for narcotic or opioid addiction. It is a wonderful contribution. It has one big contraindication. If you have an implanted pacemaker, you can't use it. Now, I have houses where one of the people has a pacemaker. I just tell them to stay 8 feet away from the person with the pacemaker while using it. But it's safe 8 to 24 hours a day. It's a battery-powered device. You can walk around with it. You can sleep with it. You can put it under your pillow. You can put it on your abdomen, on your belly, wherever. And it's wonderful for, well, helping you detach. Now, there are other things. If you are overstressed, you produce too many free radicals. Free radicals, interesting, are dead cells. They are the byproduct of cells dying from too much stress. And there are wonderful ways of reducing those free radicals. One of those things is crystal bliss. Again, the 13 specific acupuncture points, 36 a day. And putting this on lowers your free radicals a whopping 80%. There's nothing else in the world that can lower your free radicals so well. It is antioxidant supreme. Now, if you want optimal health, you want to consider all of these things. The biogenics program, the L-taurine, the PEMF device, and the scalar device. The scalar device just beamed at you and almost anywhere in the room will lower your free radicals a whopping 40%. And it's been reported by a number of people that it actually decreases gray hair. I don't care about gray hair. I'm happy to have any hair whatsoever. However, it's just an indication of some of the stress-reducing benefits of using the adrenomedular scalar device. So, in my opinion, the whole holistic approach to we're approaching the 7 steps, and there are many of them, many subdivisions of these that are optimal health, and everyone should take advantage right now of the 7 steps to optimal health, habits, life, existence, for the future of your life, the well-being, and your overall happiness. Have a good one. Okay, give me questions.
Somebody's asking. They said that they had COVID-19 a couple of months ago, and they have a lot of anxiety after it, and they have trouble breathing, and they're just worried about their health.
That's a great question. Okay, here's what I would do. Find a holistic physician. Get yourself intravenous ozone and intravenous vitamin C. 50 to 75 grams of vitamin C IV is one of the greatest things in the world for your health. Now, the other thing is, if you're not already taking vitamin D3, it is, well, it's even above vitamin C for your optimal immune system. If you weigh 140 pounds or more, 50,000 units of D3 once a week. If you weigh under 140 pounds, 50,000 the first, 10th, and 20th of every month. And of course, you need Good B Complex, our Echo Green Essentials, and our Youth Formula, and astaxanthin. My favorite antioxidant, astaxanthin, I would take 30 milligrams a day. And of course, you can, just do autogenic training. Learn and practice autogenic training. It will help immensely.
Um, Helene was wondering what brand of clams you like the best.
What brand of
Clams?
clams? I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know. I shop on Amazon today because I don't wear a mask anywhere, and so I just order my clams online. Sorry. I also like sardines, by the way, and I like canned wild caught salmon. Those are the best proteins for your brain.
All right. I have somebody who's saying that for the last 3 weeks they've had a lot of excess snot and drainage in their nose. They said they've been taking the vitamins you recommend. They've been using the PEMS, and they also have been doing the castor oil pack. And they said that's been helping, but they were wondering if you had any other advice.
If that's still going on, find a holistic physician and get yourself at least 1 or 2 intravenous vitamin C. 50 to 75, even for if you weigh 200 pounds, I would get 100 grams of vitamin C in a Myers cocktail IV. Very safe. I've been doing it since 1979. I had one today myself during this stupidemic. Just to be safe, I take it about once a week.
And that's all we have right now. We've got about a minute and a half before we'll be back into the show.
Okay, well, folks, in the meantime, think about it. How many of those habits that I mentioned in the last half hour do you have? Are you ready and willing to take care of yourself? In my opinion, once you're 18 years of age, your number one responsibility to the world, as well as to yourself, is to take care of your own health. If nothing else, not to be a drag on anyone else, but to be healthy, to feel good, to have energy. I like one of my favorite statements. I still feel energetically as good as I did when I was 26 years of age. Now, that was a good year for me. It was the year I got married, and I was pretty healthy all my life until then. But I still have that same feeling of energy when I get up in the morning. Now, I have to admit that when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is exercise for 2 hours. Not because I have to, because I like to. I enjoy moving. I'm sort of a hyperactive child growing up. When I was in college, my professors often gave me twice as much work as they gave the other students because they knew that I would do it. I sometimes did 2 semesters work in 1 semester, almost every course.
Now, back to Wellness Wednesday
So now
with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Sergey Sorin.
And now you can ask a question about anything. 417-447-1777. The time is now. Good afternoon. You are on the air. Isn't that late on? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you there? Hello? Well, calling again, I guess. They hung up or went away, had a potty break or something while we were waiting for the answer. So, folks, again, what is more important than your health? I mean, nothing. All the money in the world can't do you any good if you don't have the health to enjoy it. And money is nice, but health is nicer. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi, I wanted to ask, excuse me, Dr. Shealy, what to do for EMF protection in the city?
Well, personally, of course, There's something called a Q, the letter Q pendant.
Q-link.
Q
Okay.
pendant. You can wear one of those. It does help to protect you. And
Great.
of course, there's a little thing you can buy. I don't know what it's called, but you can put on your computer that helps to block it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, my name is Yasha Bharadwaj, and I got COVID 2 months ago. I was in India, and I've been, I had a severe panic attack, and I've been having this anxiety problem since then. I've been obsessing over dying and death. I have, developed sleep anxiety. I can sleep at night thinking my heart is going to stop beating. I have trouble breathing, and I've seen my physician, and they've checked out everything, and everything looks normal. So I've just been having this constant anxiety and, obsession over, the people passing away and pandemic and how I'm going to pass away. And just I've developed this like melancholic state of mind. So I ordered Dr. Shealy's youth formula and essentials formula and his magnesium lotion yesterday. But I wonder if, he could point me to, some solution.
If you're already doing those things, then I would try a PEMF device, the gamma PEMF device. It works in over 90% of people. It is exquisitely safe. I would say within 30 to 60 minutes, you could tell the difference. It is the greatest thing in the world, in the history of the world. It's better than all the psychiatrists put in the same room.
So could I get it will it be available at some holistic physician's office or something? Do I make an appointment to see someone with that device? How do I get it?
Well, you can get it actually online from our website. Just go to normshealy.com and it'll take you to the website, and it is there on the device. If you want to just buy it, it's there. If you want to rent it, you need to have a consultation with us so that we can rent it to you for $200 a month, and then you can turn it back in if it doesn't work. And if you want to make an appointment at the Shealy-Sorin Wellness Institute, 417-351-5221. Happy to talk with you.
Okay, sounds good, Dr. Shealy.
Hey, blessings to you. It is worth trying. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And now is your turn, 417-447-1777. Folks, I don't need the Gamma Pimp device. I've been at peace, I would say, 99% of my life. However, I don't want to need it. And so I sleep with it on my chest or my abdomen all night. You can put it under your pillow. I can't use it under my pillow. I hear a click, 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 click when it's under my pillow. I can't have it on my head when I'm talking on the phone because I hear a click, 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 click. Most people don't. However, when I'm at my office, I have one just behind my back all day. So I'm getting it probably 16 to 18 hours a day. And it's safe. The only contraindication is a cardiac pacemaker. It won't hurt you, but it can interfere with a pacemaker. But other than that, it is the most wonderful creation. Well, it is, in my opinion, a gift from the angelic kingdom because it came to me in a download. I get all my inventions. Got 16 or 17 patents now, and all of them come as a download. I suddenly have a knowing. I was in Scotland when this one came. I was walking around one morning, one of my morning activities when I'm traveling, and I suddenly thought, well, I bet the chakras relate to Earth's frequency. So the chakras would be 7.83 and up to 7 times that. And my angelic guide said that is true. However, we are not clones. So it's not just 7.83, it's plus or minus 2, 5.83 to 9.83, but 7 times that. Finally found an engineer who could make this for us, wonderful Lou Cassidy. And as soon as we got it practically, we can go after this call. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Yes, what you were speaking about with the sleep, do you think that would help somebody that has Parkinson's? Because the Parkinson's interrupts sleep for a lot of
Yes.
people that have it. Do you think that would help with that?
I don't think melatonin would help with that, but the pimp would. My favorite statement of using the gamma pimp was a 60-year-old with such advanced Parkinsonism he couldn't talk. He couldn't stand. So I sent him home with a pimp device. 1 month later, he walked 50 feet into the clinic.
Really?
And he was talking.
Okay.
So I've used it in a number of people with Parkinsonism, and even with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and it is extremely safe for neurologic diseases like that.
Okay, so I am coming into Missouri. I don't live in Missouri, but I'm coming next week.
Wonderful.
Would it be possible to come into your clinic? Now, this is for my husband, but would I be able to come into the clinic and you could explain this to me?
Absolutely. Call 417 351
Yes.
5221, and you tell them I'll stay to 6 o'clock at night if necessary to see you.
Okay, Dr. Shealy, thank you so very much. I will be in Missouri the middle of next week, so I will be calling.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Yes, Parkinson's is one of my favorites to treat. And Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, imagine Lou Gehrig's disease. That's horrible, paralyzing, fatal disease. And the gamma pimp normalizes everything. I have to admit that in 2009, I had hyperthyroidism, but never knew why, overactive thyroid. After 6 months, it was gone, but it did cause fibrillation, atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat. And I found that there are two things that will cure that when it comes on occasionally now. Magnesium lotion, my favorite all-time thing, magnesium lotion. I can rub it on my chest, anywhere on my body, soak in a bathtub with it, and it will relieve it. Or the gamma pimp over my heart will relieve it. Both of them are excellent for a fib. I haven't ever been shocked. I'm not going to be. So the important thing is the holistic approach, the comprehensive spiritual approach. We are a body, a mind, and a soul having a physical experience. So it is important to take everything in account in your life. Reduce the stress, keep yourself free of stress, and you will be free of disease. Interestingly, one of the great psychologists wrote a book in which he stated that most people set the cause and age of death early in life. Something traumatic happens to someone close to them. One of my favorite stories is a woman who had metastatic cancer all over her body. She was sent to me for pain control and told she had 2 months to live. So we worked with her actually for 4 weeks. And on the 17th day of working with her, I did an exercise on forgiveness. And this woman got up for the first time since she'd been there and walked out of the room free of pain. A month later, her cancer was gone, never to return. She got well. And I have had people cure themselves of every known disease, from brain cancer to other kinds of cancer, but more importantly, almost everything you can imagine. You don't have to be ill. If you are acutely ill, it is okay to consider acute medicine. I recently tried for the 5th time a hearing aid. It irritated my ears so much that I couldn't hear at all for a week. And at that time, Dr. Sorin looked in my ear and said I had an infection in the ear. I didn't have any pain. So I did take azithromycin, Z-Pak, as he recommended, and it went away, and my hearing is back, as good as it has been for the last 30 years or so. So there is a place for acute medicine, but in chronic disease, if it goes over 3 months, personally, it's time to look for a holistic approach. holistic, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And the top of my list is what it means to be spiritual, to look at the divine of the purpose in life. Now, that's one of the reasons I particularly like scalar energy. According to quantum physicists, all empty space in the universe is filled with scalar energy. And in that empty space, right here in this room, in that empty space the size of a helium molecule, there's enough energy to boil the world's oceans. Well, I don't want to boil the world's oceans, but I do like the idea of harnessing that scalar energy, and that's why we have the adrenomedulla scalar device. It lowers your adrenomedulin by 50%. Adrenomedulin is a stress hormone. You don't want a stress hormone. It's like triglycerides. I get this question all the time. How can I lower triglycerides? Well, get rid of your stress. Lower your stress, your triglycerides will go down. You don't really need a supplement to lower your triglycerides because you don't need a drug to lower your cholesterol. You can manage your cholesterol with TMG, trimethylglycine, 2,000 milligrams 3 times a day, and lecithin granules, 2 tablespoons twice a day. Not only lowers your cholesterol, but it helps your memory because it makes you acetylcholine. So all of these things are good for your health. And to me, again, nothing is more important than taking care of yourself and keeping yourself healthy. When I get up in the morning, as I said, I exercise for 2 hours. Before I do, I don't eat breakfast until after I've exercised for 2 hours. I'm not hungry until I have finished my exercise. And I drink lots of well water because I would not, under any circumstance, drink city water. Remember, in my opinion, every city council member in Springfield should be voted out in every election until they get rid of fluoride in the water, which is poisoning you. And so if you live in a city, get yourself a Berkey, Berkey. I have no financial interest, but it's what we use at the clinic, a Berkey filter, so that you drink only defluoridated water. I told my dentist, he puts fluoride in my mouth, I'll bite his hand off, and I mean it. Poison is poison, and I won't put it in my mouth or my body. In addition, I do take all the supplements I talk about, and in fact, I take a lot more than the ones I talk about. I like all kinds of essential mushrooms, ashwagandha, lion mane, turkey tail, rhodiola. There are lots of enhancements of the immune system. Any other questions while we're waiting?
Sure. I have somebody asking if it's possible to get off of antidepressants that have been on for 20 years.
It is possible after 40 years. Now, there I would strongly suggest a consultation with me, 417-351-5221. It could be done by phone or Skype or Zoom, and I will guide you in getting them off them. But I can give you a 99.99999% chance if you'll follow my advice. I can get you off antidepressants and happy.
Another question, you might repeat the question over the microphone so they can hear, but is it safe or appropriate to wear the sapphire pouch with the PEMF device?
Is it safe to wear the sapphire pouch with the PEMF? Absolutely. I've got one all the time. Absolutely, 1,000% safe. Good question.
And then we have a listener who's dealing with a lot of hormone swings and weight gain, and a lot of hormonal swings and weight gain. Ways to address that.
Well, in my opinion, the number one way to avoid weight gain is to avoid wheat, sugar, rice, and potatoes. None. Not one minimum. Not a half an ounce of any one of those foods. And in addition, exercise. If you don't like to exercise, move your arms. Just stand and bounce your arms around and around and move your arms. That's actually excellent exercise. I advised a young man 3 weeks ago about this, and he's lost 15 pounds in the last 3 weeks. It's possible and probable.
Okay. And any more? All right. So for someone who hasn't taken supplements, doesn't get good sleep, doesn't exercise well, where's the best place for them to start to make that transition?
A great idea. Where to start? Okay, start with Shealy-Sorin youth formula and Shealy-Sorin essentials. Those are the two most important, and vitamin D3. And then start with some kind of exercise. Doesn't matter what, as long as you move. If you can find a way to move other than this, do it. If it's walking, that's fine. If it's running, that's fine. If it's a treadmill, that's fine. I also, part of my exercise is I sort of redeveloped the old Charles Atlas program. I do 45 minutes of isometric exercise. I do 200 sit-ups. I do 100 backups on the Roman chair. And I do 30 minutes of moving my arms while on a vibratory machine. I use 10 minutes on a health rider with 50 pounds of weight and a treadmill. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, I don't move other than that. And do auditing training. Don't forget that.
And that's all that I see right now.
Good. Well, folks, if you have a question, I will be happy to answer it by email. I'm honest. I mean, I really enjoy answering questions for people. Norm at normshealy.com. So if you've got a question that you didn't want to ask on air, send me an email and I will get to it. Sometimes it can take me a day to get to it, but I will answer your email. The only reason I won't is if it goes into spam for some reason. I don't control the spam control, but I just had somebody who told me that everything was going into spam. All the good stuff was going into spam. I'm glad I checked my spam folder because I never look at it. I had no idea that that could happen, but in today's world, anything can happen. So make a resolution. Every day, make a New Year's resolution to be healthy, to do what it takes to feel good, and to be healthy for the rest of your life. It's so much more fun to be healthy. You know, it's still fun to be ill. It doesn't feel good to hurt or to not have any energy or to be depressed or anxious. That's not fun. To me, fun is, yay, let's get it done today. Now, I have to admit that my favorite activity is reading and writing and gardening. And they give me the information that I need to do what I really need to do. And I guess my really favorite avocation is research. We're in the process of completing a study on telomere regeneration, and I just started the final part of that study. We'll know within a couple of weeks what we're doing on that one. And I have another idea for rejuvenation of telomeres, because to me, telomeres are the most critical thing. We already know you can rejuvenate your telomeres 3.5% a year. Ordinarily, they shrink 1% every year of life if you have good health habits. If you have bad health habits, they can shrink 5 or 10% a year. And in a crisis year, they can shrink 12%. But we can already regenerate 3.5% a year. And I'm looking for new ways to go beyond 3.5% a year. I want to do 10% a year. But it's safe and it's worth considering. And to me, that's exciting when you do something that can make people healthier and without risks. Number one is always no risk. Number two is effect, a good effect, a beneficial effect. So don't forget autogenic training. If you haven't done the biogenics course yet, if you don't want to do autogenic training, do all the other biogenics. I don't care. All of it is worth doing. Biogenics, BIOGENICS course, COURSE.com or www.biogenicscourse.com. It is Well, there's 68 different exercises in there. And I get good comments from people all the time about their success in doing that program. It's been around officially since 1978, and it is, one of my favorite creations. Next after that would be the Gamma Pimp device. But everything that helps people is worthwhile, from the TENS unit, the cranial electrostimulator, the RelaxMate. All of these things are good because they help people. They reduce stress, they reduce anxiety, they reduce depression, and they reduce pain. And again, the most important thing, by the way, we have a new, soon to be on the market, I think, Pain Bliss. I'm working with that. I am pretty sure it's going to come on the market, and I've got an idea that it may even rejuvenate telomeres if we use it in a special way. So time will tell whether we're up to doing that one as another safe experiment. And I only do experiments which we've already proven are safe before we do them. I'm the first guinea pig, or now that Dr. Sorin's with me, he's the second guinea pig. When we have a new idea, we always test it on ourselves first to be sure it's safe, and then we do an official study with 10 people or more to be certain that it's safe, because safety is number one, efficacy is number two, and benefit is part of efficacy. The most important thing is take care of yourself. I can't do it for you. I can assist you. I'm happy to assist you and to tell you, guide you, advise you. All you got to do is call 351 5221 351 417 351 5221. I'm going to repeat it 1,000 times a day. The important thing is health is your responsibility, and you can take care of it for yourself. Let me know if I can be of help to you. Norm at normshealy.com. Until next week, y'all have a good one.